Hey class, it's Myles, and today we're going to learn how to make some hard candy. First, let's talk about all the supplies you will need. You're going to need a tablespoon measurer, a teaspoon measurer, a cup measurer, a measuring glass, a pot, a spatula or a wooden spoon, and a candy thermometer that goes up to at least 350 degrees. You'll also need a few candy molds. Today we've chosen the gem molds. And some of the ingredients we'll need is sugar, any kind of sugar, corn syrup, any kind of flavoring. Here we have artificial flavoring, or fruit juice of some kind. We have food coloring. Today we're going to be using orange. And some Pam, just so nothing sticks to the pan or the molds. Okay, first is first. We're going to need 1 3/4 cups of sugar. Today I decided to use powdered sugar instead of the regular granulated sugar. If using granulated sugar, you'd only need 1 cup of sugar. So let me just measure this out for you. Okay, so I have my 1 3/4 cups of my powdered sugar. Yeah, right there. And we're gonna just dump it into our pot slowly. Next, we will need a 1/2 cup of water. That's about a 1/2 cup of water. And we're gonna also pour that into the pot. Next, we're gonna add 3/8 cups of the Caro corn syrup into the pot. To get that 3/8 cup, here's where the tablespoon measure comes in handy. You may want to use a spatula to get all of this corn syrup out of the measuring cups. Okay, so now that we have all the stuff that goes into the pot, you put it on the stove. We're gonna turn the stove on, the stove top on to medium. That's probably 4. And we'll just wait to stir until it boils. While your candy is heating up, it might be a good time to spray the molds with some Pam. We are supposed to add our food coloring at 250 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's check our temperature now. And it seems we're about there, so let's add our food coloring. We're just gonna add a few drops so the color isn't too messy. And now we're going to stir it. Nice color there. Make sure you stir it evenly so no part is a different color than another. We are gonna add our flavoring at about 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so we see our candy is at about 300 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's time to add our flavor. Over here, I have measured out 3 teaspoons of a peach soda into this canister right here. And we're just gonna dump it in. It's gonna start to sizzle. But then we just stir it in for a little bit. Now that we've stirred our flavor in, it's time to turn the stove off so we do not burn the candy. This has to be quick. This is the molding part of the lesson. Let's take our candy over to the sprayed candy molds over some tin foil so it does not get on your counters at home. And so we just pour it in over the molds, trying to separate it out a little bit. Don't put too much on one mold. So that's why we have 2. And Then we're just gonna smooth out the molds. I have a spatula so I can get all the candy molds, as many as I can, filled. You also might want to, before trying to mold the candy, you might want to wait a little bit so the molds don't burn. We should be good, and we should let it freeze over for about 5 to 10 minutes, because you don't want to crack it out of the molds when it's not set. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes since I poured the candy molds, so now it's time to crack them out of their shells. Cracking a mold out of its shell is extremely easy. You see, you just flip it over, maybe push down, pop it a few times, and we see we have our molds. They might be stuck together, so it's easy to just break these apart. And we see we have nice candy little shapes here, nice gems. We'll do this again with this other mold. See, just flip it over, press down, fold it a few times. We have very shiny, nice orange, peach flavored little candy gems.